whakarongo ki te tangi a te korimako. Kōrero flowing out the hook of force. Kaupapa relevant, kaupapa out of bounds, kaupapa exigent, kaupapa paramount. Nā kona whakapiri mai ki te kaupapa tino whakahira hira whakarongo pi kari kari mai. Hare hare mai, o Taringa hare hare mai. We gotta gather up close everybody, gather up close everybody. Kani move that body, kani move that body.
Ko te kaunati hika hika tēnei ka tautau I te ahi kia mura mai ai. Kia noho rā tātou ki te wānanga I ngā kaupapa o te wā, anei I te pokapū o Taringa, anei e mihi nei kia koutou kei ngā iwi nau mai, hoki mai, anei ki te pūmahana, kia noho pūāhuru ai tātou. Tēnā koutou, nau mai, hoki mai. Here is Taringa coming at you from the bustling metropolis of Te Aomatu, and we'd like to mihi to te māngai pāho, kōrua ko irirangi te motu. Thank you very much.
Beautiful. Stunning.
Thank you very much.
Stunning introduction.
I like your voice too that you're doing. Kia ora.
Oh, thank you. I'm trying to channel my Pākehā whakapapa I tēnei ata. I can't sustain a good sentence though beyond that, so. Engari mōrena, kia ora.
Well, you know, e pērā tahi au e tahi wā. And then sometimes I end up fumbling over a word, you know.
Yes.
Or I just pronounce it, you know, the pronunciation is way off.
Yes.
Engari, e te whānau. Anei, māua ko Kahurangi, e mihi nei kia koutou. And te puaheiri is somewhere else.
Ai, somewhere, fighting the good fight for te iwi Māori.
Nō reira, ka nui te aroha, ka e rere tonu ana ngā mihi kia koe. Anei māua e pupuru ana I te Māori.
Kia ora. Tūturu, whakamaua kia tīna.
Tīna.
Haumi e hui e.
Taiki.
Beautiful.
And e te iwi, we've got a Patapatai session for you lined up I te rānei, and we get some interesting pātai, and engari,
Ai.
I mui tērā kia huri ki te kiwaha. Right, anei te kiwaha e te whānau is a new kiwaha, and you know, people ask me, Paraone, are you ever going to run out of kiwaha? Well, I don't know. I don't think so. What's interesting is, e tei wā ka haere mai, you know, ka haere tātou ki ngā hui, ka rongo I tētai kōrero. There's lots of situations where kiwaha come out, usually naturally, and those are the best ones. But we had to do a bit of a patapatai ourselves, or a bit of a rangahau, and we've got a kiwaha to share with you, and kahurangi, whiua, karawhiua.
Ka pai, ko te kiwaha I tēnei hōtaka, e ringa e.
E ringa e.
Kia pono ahau. I konei māua ko Paraone e wānanga ana kua mahi ki te, you know, ia hōtaka kei te kimi mātou. The main question is, have we done this kiwaha before? And then, okay, so we rule that one out and we go to another one. Well, I had to toro to my very taitokero husband and ask him for kiwaha, and he gave me a very Ngāti Whakaue kiwaha. So, ko e ringa e. You know, I've done well I te iwi to really whakatokia I te arawatanga Ngāti Whakauetanga ki roto ki taku hoa. And yes, so e ringa e, he gave us that one. You know, me pono hoki ahau, ahua wareware. Kāre au te kaha whakamahi I tēnei kiwaha, but ko tōna whakamāramatanga, it's like almost but, ne? Or kei te tika rānei tērā, hea ho mōhe oranga, Paraone?
Yeah, nearly, but you weren't successful.
Aye.
You missed the mark, you didn't quite get it.
Yeah.
Close but no cigar.
Close but no cigar.
Yeah, koe rā te kōrero, and you know, e whai ana koe kia te tuki tētahi tūmanako.
Aye.
And, you know, you don't do it.
Just don't get there. Yeah.
And you could say, you know, e hoa e ringa e.
Aye.
E hoa e ringa e. Close but no cigar.
Aye. Why the cigar though?
Well, let's do a little rangaho of ourselves, you know.
Yes.
Actually, you think of another situation you would use that e ringa e. You give an example.
Yes, okay, so I'm on a kaupapa at the moment, e te iwi, you know, a challenge, right? So I'm in the gym quite a bit lately.
Yes, and you know, I whakahihiri koe angana kotiti, pago kotiti.
Aye.
Because i enei rānei, you know, e te kia Kahurangi, he nui aku hui i enei rā ka mahue nei. You know, pautaku hau. And e te ata nei, i oho ai au, whakara, me haere rānei ki te whare korikori. And I think it might have been your story, and that inspired me to get my ass to the gym.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
Thank you for letting
koe.
me know. Ai. Well, etahi waka whakaro, I'm just in my own little world, and whakapakari ana. And for those who are following a plan, or if you're on legs day or upper body, I was on upper body today, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go up in weight. And I was doing I think it was a push press or something like that. Anyway, I had to do 5 reps and I only got to about 3 where I was almost, but not enough. Not enough kaha in that one. So Eringa e. Hoi anō, e mihi ana ki te iwi whakapakari. And that's it right there. If you, kei roto koe tō moenga e tako tō ana and you just, this is my whakatauki, you never feel bad about going to do a workout, but you always feel bad about not going to do a workout. You always feel much better after you've done a workout.
And sometimes you may not feel great. Oh, no, I feel good when I'm in there.
Kia ora.
But when I'm on squat number 10 and I'm on the 4th set,
I know, you're like, oh.
I'm like,
e ringa e.
And anei te mea mo te close but no cigar, its origins back in the 1920s when carnivals would hand out cigars as prizes. These games were obviously targeted at adults and not children. So carnival games were very difficult to win, and the stand owner would simply shout the phrase when the player miserably failed to win. Hence, no cigars as a reward. Close but no cigar.
Close.
There you go, adding aye.
Aye.
So there you go, e te whānau. Put that in your kete kiwaha. And kia mohia mai koutou. This is episode ruarau iwa tekau mā whā.
Wow.
Engari, I think we started doing kiwaha along the way. We didn't start off at episode 1, so I'm not sure when I had that idea of doing kiwaha every episode. Anyway. But
it's been great whenever you introduced it, as a person who would listen to Taringa before coming on, and I still listen to it, before coming on as a host, I guess. It was a great icebreaker, but then it was just also, what I liked about it was the wānanga that would happen post talking, sharing the kiwaha, and then, but it's more about how you can use it and giving the example, because often when we go to kurereo, ka ako tātou I enei kiwaha, and they often just sit in our books, and koera te wero ki a tātou, ka haere ana tātou ki enei wānanga, ka peha tā tātou whakauru I enei kiwaha I a tātou te kāinga, and that's been something that Shay and I have been trying to work on with our tamariki, and Atareta did her manu kōrero the other week, and ka mea mai ia, me wana ake taku kauhau. I said, mā te whakauru etahi kiwaha, ka mea hau, I wā tātou nei hoki, e rā ka mea ia, kore pia etahi e mārama, hea te tikanga. I said, well, hei aha mau, me whakamahi ki reira ka ako etahi. So often, kiwaha sometimes don't, because e rehu ana te whakamārama I etahi wā, but that's the whole point. That we just got to keep using it like a muscle. We got to keep going to the gym and using it. So
he tika tēnā. Ka miti kei te ina etahi wā, me noho anau me tehi o Ngāti Porou. So I find I a mātai hui ko te matatini, I'll spend the day, Selwyn. Sir Selwyn, Tāherewini. And man, he dropped some gems, but they're just coming out, e puta Māori mai ana, e rā kupu, e rā kiwa hoki, and then I'll write them down, and then I'll say it back at another, and you go, how do you know that? Where'd you get that from?
You said it.
And then I'll say it, you said it, and you go, when did I say that? And, and I'll find I'll use, if I'm with a group of Ngāti Porou people, I will use those kiwa.
I love that. See, that's a level up. Yes, I'm going to use that. Now here's another little thing. Do you write it or do you put it in your notes in your phone?
Yeah, I put it in my notes on my phone.
Papai. Yes.
Yeah, I've got a whole list of things that Hedwini has said.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're cool. And some, I think, I've talked about this on a previous taringa. Te tauku koraua Korohaki was in his 90s. He always carried a notebook. And he told me to carry a notebook. This is when I was a teenager. And I've still got my notebooks from then.
Really?
And then when phones came along, now I keep my notes in phones. In my phone. Engari etahi wā, ka pene koe, it's very mundane and but later on you realise that little thing is a big thing. It's a little big thing.
Yes. Engari, ko tētahi mea, when I'm writing a note, I need to ensure that I've given some sort of example or something that just sparks that's what that means, because often I've written something that I've heard, and then I go back to look at it and I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
So,
Tika tēnā. Tuhia e tei kōrero I te taha, like you're adding a e. If any of you have heard, you might make a note in your phone and just write adding a e. Engari kare koe te tuhi e te whakamārama, you don't write what it means, and then he tama. Mahui a koe te tikanga, you won't be able to use it. So there you go, adding a e.
Bit of a real tip.
Okay, Kahurangi, kia huri tātou ki e tai o nā pātai nei.
Kia ora.
Mai o e timata.
Okay, Samantha Alston. Atamari e koutou. Yes, it is Morena land here. Ka whakarongo a hau ki tā podcast, I think, ki tā koutou podcast. Ia rā, he miharo ki a hau.
Kia ora.
He mihi nunui ki a koutou. Kao he mihi kia ki a koe, Samantha.
Kia ora.
He pātai tāku. Heha o koutou whakaro I think more, I te app Drops. Ka mahi au ki te ako kupu tata ki, ka ako ia tahi kupu, ia rā. Ai. Ngā mihi anō, Sam. Tēnā koe, Sam. O whakaro?
Well, kare anō māua kia hautatu me tēnei taupanga, and e tautoko ana I ngā mihi kia koe Samantha, tēnā rau ati koe I tō pātai.
Right.
Well, pet tuatahi ake, and our tio in the back has done some research on this app, a little bit of research, but we haven't had a hautatu with it. Engari, I think this is a broader discussion about hangaro and apps, hei ako I te reo. Hei āwhina I te tangata ki te ako I te reo. He pewheki o whakaro.
Ai, e hara hau I te tangata ka toro atu ki ngā apps, engari e kite anau I te hua, o tā tātou whakamahi era. So I think it's awesome, Sam, that you've reached out to these sorts of apps. And tātou I rangahau, quick little Google of Drops. It's a fun way to learn languages by combining beautifully designed word games with, I don't even know how to say this word, mnemonic associations. Ko he pēr taku hua I tērā. But I get it. It makes a bit of sense to me. And I think what I read earlier too was that they were using play with your words, learning Māori made easy. Now, then I had questions about permission and mena rāna I whakaia. If they're talking about Māori made easy by te manahau, then mena I whakaia. So that's another thing, around kei awai te mana ki te tuku I nei. But I guess whatever helps you every day is the thing. What is your kind of... I'm into the book Atomic Habits.
He rawera wāti tērā puka puka.
And that might be something like that you have every day that you tērā paka o koe ka kite koe tētahi kupu and you're like, okay, that's going to be my kupu for the day, or what have you, he pai tērā. Engari hara hau, moku ake, I don't use apps, but I should.
Kia ora. Well, tēnā koe Samantha, e whakamahi anau I tai taupanga. So I'm learning, e ako anau I te reo hapanihi. And I have 2 apps I use. One is Duolingo.
Yes.
One of the popular apps, and also have another one called the Pimsleur. And they're both different. If you know, a lot of you may know Duolingo, and Pimsleur is you must commit half an hour every single day. It's all repeating back what you hear. Ne?
Okay.
And then I've got this other app called, I think it's Mango, but I say Mango. Anyway, hoi anō. He pai ngā taupānga, engari kāri tua atu I te kōrero me etehi. Tētahi rānei. So, e tautoko ana I o kōrero kahurangi. Definitely use the apps as an aid, but you can't depend on them. And I'm finding that, so iau e mahi ana I te, whakamahi ana I te Duolingo, I know that I'm okay and I can repeat back when I'm listening to the app and I can do all the games. But as soon as I get in a situation with somebody and talking, that's where I need the work. I found that on a trip to Italy. I was, I reira tētai horokuku, I was reluctant to use what I'd learned on Duolingo.
Ne?
And then I had a few Aperol Spritz. And I te rere taku reo I tāri anō.
Ne?
Yeah, and then I got told I was speaking too slow. So, he pai ngā taupānga, koenei te te ngako o a māua kōrero, whakahoki. He pai ngā taupānga. Haven't had a look at this one, but nothing beats sitting in a conversation with somebody.
Tēnā koe.
And just you and one other as a language community.
Absolutely. And, you know, he mea nui tērā, and I know that a lot of language learners struggle to have either a person or a community to have those conversations. So tērā pē, haere ana koe ki etahi karahe, they might be aupikitanga or pinakitanga.
Or awanuiarangi.
Or you know,
or anywhere,
that
whatever.
Anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere.
Anywhere, but you need to have your homie, you need to have your people that you, and it's almost like you need to establish, often it's harder for a person, if you already have an English language relationship with someone, it's often hard to then go back, or, you know, start speaking Māori. Ai, and kei reira, ngā hopo e he huiki i etahi wā, but that's a really important thing to overcome is it's the fear, of just speaking and getting it wrong, but e tino tautoko anau i tērā whakaro me whai tangata koe. Apps are good, and that is in support of you being able to just kōrero with someone else.
Kia ora. Ka pai, tēnā koe Samantha. Anei te pātai kai au, kāre ingoa. Hoi anō, the Pōtiki, and koutou kāre mohana ki tērā kupu is the youngest. And ko te atu kupu mo te youngest is whakapākanga. The Pōtiki of our whānau is struggling to find his place in te ao Māori. He used to stand with confidence, but as he grows and embraces his inner wairua, he's struggling to find examples of past where his iwi or hapu embraced these changes in one. I see my brother pulling away from te ao Māori, and I know it's him not wanting to takahi on te mana o ngai Māori while staying true to his inner self.
Wow.
I asked with love and hope to see my brother shining and flourishing again in te ao Māori.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hohonu.
Tino.
Ai.
He wānanga tēnei pātai.
Ai.
Nari, tuatahi ake hea ngā miroto i tō ngā kau, tuahine.
Ai.
And firstly, whoever this is that sent this pātai in, e mihi ana ki a koe, thank you for reaching out. Yeah, that you feel safe to share this with us, and that we can have a bit of a wānanga with this pātai.
Ai. He mea nui hoki e kite ana tēnei tangata i tērā āhuatanga i roto i tana tungane. Me tana hiehia kia āwhina i aia.
Kia ora.
And me tana mōhio kei roto i aia tērā Māori. Tōna Māori, me tōna hononga ki tōna ao Māori. When I was hearing and listening to this, we do, I think a lot of us in our whānau have people that we can see kind of distancing themselves from their Māoritanga for a variety of reasons. And this one is quite, is unique, and that's why I said hohonu, because it's deep, because it talks about a lot of things. It's wairua, and then it's talking about how iwi and hapu embraces all of that. And so, kāre au e tahi whakautu ki te whakatika ki te āwhina rānei i tēnei āhuatanga, but I guess where there are opportunities as a whānau to support him connecting to his Māoritanga, whether that be, and I don't always think it's about, you need to, there's often this kōrero, you need to go back to your marae. Well, what does that even look like for some whānau? Because for some, there's such a huge disconnect to marae, and you only ever go to the marae if there's a tangihanga. So it could be a variety of things. It could be even just the very basics of mena kei te kāinga koe. It could be watching, listening to te reo, to kapahaka, to, just starting off really, really small. It doesn't have to be this big thing where we think, and kāre au tiki, that this isn't the place, that the marae or, going home is the place, because that certainly is, that's the top of what we should be doing, but often that's hard to get to. So it could be starting small and helping your brother and do it passively rather than like quite aggressive and in their face.
Kia ora.
Hoi anō, he whakaro noi ho tēnā.
He rau e nā whakaro.
Yeah, pehea. O whakaro.
Well, like you, I feel there's some more layers to this pātai, and I could be reading between the lines when there's nothing actually to read. But if I'm wrong, e pai ana, I think there's some kōrero here that will help other teina in this, or youngest of whānau in this sort of situation. And I'm ko hau te pōtiki o taku whānau. So I'm the youngest in our whānau I have an older brother, he tuakana tōku, koia hoki te mātāmua. He's also my tuakana, and he's the eldest child, firstborn. And, you know, even though I'm the one that works in Te Ao Māori,
Aye.
I always acknowledge my tuakana. So if he's at the pā, at particular hui, I always acknowledge him. There's not just an automatic default to me.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think back to e whakaaro anau ki te tangihanga o taku māma. And my mother passed away 1 day or 2 days before te matatini ki Tauranga Moana.
Right, yes.
And I was meant to judge that year. And I always, you know, kua mihi e ketia koe au tāmati, but I'll never forget tāmati acknowledging the passing of my mother on stage. When he did the whai kōrero before Apanui did their mō tete. Anyway, a lot of people came to Mum's tangi on the way to Tauranga.
Aye.
And one of them was Pau, Tēmara. Him and Duru came on. And at the time, Pau and I didn't really know each other that well. I wasn't in Te Panekiretanga then.
Aye,
So we knew each other, and I knew more of him because it's Pau Tēmara. And I was honoured that he came to my tangi, my mum's tangi. But I had said to the paipai I felt for my tuakana because I knew a lot of his friends were Pākehā and they'd be coming on burial day. Whereas all of my friends were coming, and I'll say my sisters too, were coming during the tangi. Which is, you know, what you do.
Te mei mōhio, yeah.
And I got a bit whakamā because, well, nobody knew my brother, you know, in my circles, or knew I even had a tuakana.
I know, and they ka mihi ki a koe, engari ka mahu e te mihi ki a, koe ki te hoki au i tērā.
And so I tono atu au, i ngā kaumātua ki te whakamōhio i ngā manuhiri. I asked the kaumātua to let them know my tuakana's there sitting next to me. And, you know, don't forget to acknowledge him. Yeah, even though my brother wouldn't have cared.
Kara, yeah.
And you know, e mihi anau ki taku tuakana because at the time, kare anō ia I ako I te reo.
No.
Engari, muri rawa mai, ka tahuri taku tuakana ki te ako I te reo. Māori. Yeah. I think it might have been around that time, actually. Anyway,
yes.
When Pau came on, the ope that Pau came on, and te kahautu, I tua te Pau ki te koro. And I thought, for someone that didn't know my mother, he gave a beautiful kōrero.
Yes.
Which is, you know, that shows the skill of an orator, like Pau.
Aye.
And he heard what the kaumātua said. And then he did acknowledge my tuakana and, of course, me. And then he started talking about Maui.
Wow.
And he was talking to my brother and saying, yes, you may be the tuakana, but your younger brother, and I'm saying this with humility, is the one that is known in Te Ao Māori.
Kia ora.
And he has a responsibility as well. So, taking that kōrero, coming back to our pātai, I think if you look in our pūrākau, and these are kōrero that you can have with your brother, that there's lots of pūrākau, kōrero tuku iho about atua, about tūpuna, who were the youngest, and who did great deeds, but there's also teachings in there. So, you know, always be wary that you have brothers, older brothers, and not just brothers, but you have elders as well. So be humble. And again, and I think of Wharehuia. Tō tātou pāpā, Wharehuia, he had an elder brother. And I remember him sharing kōrero about something that played out on a marae in Ruatoki. So similar to the situation that myself and my brother were in during my mum's tangihanga. Yeah, tērā. Every iwi, ko te iwi o Kahurangi, tētai o nā iwi Maro, you know, e tai o aku ngā tikanga te arawa kua whaka ngāwari here. But tuakana teina is one tino like Maro a te arawa ki tērā tikanga. Me taku mihi.
Okay, nei.
You know, me taku mihi ki tērā. I think it does require a wānanga.
Tēnā koe. Yes, it absolutely does. Hoi anō, he wānanga nō tērā.
Yeah, but I recall we had a wānanga I roto i a mātou I taku hapu Ngāti Takihiku ki Raukawa nei. And it was when I was about 18, 19, and our kaumātua could see the shift then. This is in the 90s. And one of my aunties, she was, and Koenei Taku, I've spoken about her profusely on Taringa, Te Uru Whakarewo, Auntie Uru, my mum's younger sister, who was my probably biggest mentor, teacher growing up.
Wow.
And she stood in a hui, and I tangi ia.
Ne.
Because she was expected to uphold the responsibilities, and yet some of our kuia were still alive then. They had a hui about it. It wasn't a marae committee hui, and then it turned into a wānanga tikanga. And I'm grateful that she did, because I think a lot of hapu should have and could have had those wānanga in the 90s when you still had that ilk of kaumātua with that knowledge base.
Kia ora.
And she wasn't asking for permission, actually. She wanted them to talk about the fact that she was young and there were younger ones, and yet the kaumātua was still alive, and they had a wānanga about it, and they I whakawātea rātau I te huarahi.
Ne?
Yeah, mō ngā uri whakatupu kei te whai mai.
Ai.
So, you know, kua ngāwari o mātou marae ki te tuakana teina.
Ai.
So I'm reading this pātai, and as I said, I could be wrong in thinking that maybe your brother was told to, hey, you know, hold up.
Whakarere.
Yeah, or not.
Right.
But another one too in our tātātai tikanga tuakana teina, ne Kahurangi, is reach out to someone in your whānau or hapu that your brother can be nurtured by, who is an aora or tuakana.
Ai.
And take him along, because I hear you, I've seen I etai whānau, once they're so passionate about te ao Māori, and then something happens and it just puts them off.
Yes.
Hei koena e tehi o aku whakaaro e pāna ki tēnei pātai.
Ai.
Tuakana teina, poipoia, tō tingane, manakitia, so nurture him. Perhaps look at someone in the whānau or the hapu that he can be with.
Yes.
Yeah, and it could actually be something that you guys have a wānanga about, not just your brother, but others in the hapu. How do you look after rangatai that want to be in that space? You know, and I think, you know, Kahurangi, you know, actually tātou te ao Māori, e whakarongo ana, it's a saying. We go, oh, you got to start in the kitchen.
Sorry, I don't subscribe to that whakaaro.
No, well, the thing is, ko te ao Māori o mua, where people, I kitea e te iwi, ngā tamariki me o rātou pūmanawa, their natural talents and where their passion was.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be like chucking someone in woodwork who, you know, is not into woodwork.
That's right. Plain and simple, he pēra.
You know, so I think me wānanga tātou te ao Māori, you know, I think that's you know, to start in the kitchen. Maybe that isn't, you know, I get it. You got to do some dishes and all that sort of stuff. But I think if there's a natural want there for our rangatai to be doing the mōtetea or cleaning the whare, or, you know, some of my nephews, they want to be out by the hangi hole. And that's cool. So I'm not going to drag them out the front.
Ai.
You know, but they'll still come to kaupapa. Yeah.
Ai. And I think that's what she was just saying initially, is she sees or feels that her brother is struggling to find his place in te ao Māori, and a place isn't necessarily defined by just the kitchen or just out the front or wherever that might be, but it's actually finding it within you. But yes, the wānanga as a whānau hapu iwi, he kaha tātou ki te whakawā, ne? He kaha tātou ki te whakawā. You know, those of us who are strong in the kitchen, ka kite koe etahi ka kuhu mai, and this one's just coming in for feed. Kāre koe kite, that person's been sitting in the whare all day, you know, keeping the whare warm, keeping the tūpāpaku warm, and he mahi nui tēnā. So me mutu pā tā tātou whakawā hoki I ngā tūranga katoa. And hoi anō, e mihi ana ki tēnei tangata. I don't know if it's a tuahine or to this brother, but it's beautiful to see And thank you for te toro mai kia Taringa.
Kia ora.
Ki te kimi etahi whakautu. And there's a number of avenues that you could go down based on that, on that wānanga, but I pai tērā ki au te wānanga I tērā pātai.
Tēnā koe. Just quickly, someone's asked for the story of Tūrongo and his brother Whatihua Rūputahanga e Mahinārangi. Watch this space for Once Upon a Time.
Mm-hmm. Coming right up.
Coming right up in a few months.
Okay, anei te pātai whakamutunga mo tēnei hōtaka. He pātai tino pai. Anonymous person, thank you for your pātai. All right. The pātai is, okay, I have karakia in the morning and then I have 5 separate meetings throughout the day. Do I need to have 5 different karakia for every hui? And I get this because, yes, like you go into a hui or even a Zoom, right? Yeah. Okay, kia karakia tātou. And I'm like, I've already had a karakia in the other meeting. So this is such a common scenario. And nā reira, e te tohunga.
Oh, don't do that, e te tohunga.
E te tohunga. Haha. Mea ha tātou. What would you do in this scenario? And actually, if this was to come up, would you go, sorry, I've already had a karakia. What do you do?
He tika tēnā.
Yeah.
And like, tēnā koe tēnei pātai, whoever sent this pātai, and it is, and you know what, I think it's going to open up lots of wānanga for our Taringa listeners, ngai Taringa, koutou whakarongo mai ana. I mean, I karakia every morning.
Yeah.
And you know, I used to work here at Te Wānanga o Te Aro, and we would have organisational karakia. Tātou, yes. You know, my rāno was 8:30, and then during te mata urutā, we moved it to 8:45.
Yes.
And it was such a big thing to move karakia 15 minutes. Anyway, he kōrua anō tērā. So we have karakia together, and then you might have 4 hui through the day.
Actuals.
Yep. So, anei oku whakaaro.
Ai, karawhiua.
It depends on the hui. Okay? It depends on the hui. Kā te hui. So now I've gotten into and you know, kare pētai e whakai ki tēnei, but like the other day, I was like and many of you, e whakarongo mai ana, I was like in my 6th Zoom meeting. And by the 6th one, and I'm looking at the people in the room, and they're expecting me to do the karakia. And I was just like, and I said, ko ngā whakaaro nui o te karakia o te ata nei, ka tōia mai ki runga ki tēnei hui-huinga o tātou.
There it is.
And everybody was like, yo!
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, so loose translation of that is the sentiment or the
intention.
The main intentions, yes, the intentions of the karakia that was performed this morning are brought to this meeting of us together at this time. There was no haumie o hui e taikie, you know?
Yeah.
It was just like, ko ngā whakaaro nui o te karakia i te ata, ka uwhia mai ki runga ki tēnei hui-huinga o tātou. And everybody nodded, they got it. You know, because I'm sure that they were in their 4th or 5th Zoom meeting as well. So I think, you know, and kātai kārua Kahurangi, ko tētai atu me, you know, ko nā ako apau a wharehuia. And, you know, e tātou aku tohunga, he practical.
Tēnā koe.
A tātou tikanga. You know, so we've talked about tikanga having a iho atua, and then one I've made up is iho whenua or iho tangata is practical.
Marama.
So I don't feel you have to have, you know, a whole lot of karakia for every single hui in the day. Now, just say, before you go into a hui, you're notified that somebody is sick. You know, that would have been at the hui, but they're sick, they might be in hospital or something like that, or someone in their whānau. Then my ngāka would say, well, we're going to have a karakia, but now the theme of the karakia isn't really going to be about us in this hui.
Yes.
It's going to be a karakia uruora, where we're sending all of our good intentions to that person who's not well. Okay, so pewhi o whakaro.
You know, i a koe kororana mo tēnei to be practical. We get so caught up in being, we want, all of us, ne, tātou katoa e nganana kia tika, kia pono a tātou mahi katoa. And so that intention is always to be commended, because, I've often gone into, in my space anyway, dealing with marketing agencies or big media companies, and they know that they're dealing with a Māori company, and they come in and go, I would like to do a karakia. And, I'm like, tēnā koe, ka mihi a tērā āhuatanga.
Right.
And so, and we acknowledge that people are really trying to be pono and tika. And so, tuatahi, I tērā taumata, beautiful. The second taumata is, let's be practical about this. So if you're going to go into another hui after that and you're going to do the same karakia, or if you're like, here's my question to you then, at the end of the hui, do you do a karakia whakakapi, and then you have to start again, like...
That's so true.
The bookends of karakia.
Yeah, nice, the bookends of karakia.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Haha.
and ia koe kōrana, apparently here at the wānanga, that's what they used to do way back.
Right.
So in the 80s, I would say the 80s, they'd have karakia, tīmatanga, and then karakia whakamutinga.
Aye.
I remember on 2 occasions here we called everyone in the building, was one after the earthquakes in Christchurch.
Yes.
We got everybody together in the afternoon and we had a special karakia. So there are those moments, and every he rereke ia horopaki. Yeah, so...
That's it.
Koina te whakahuti ki tō pātai. And, have a wānanga with your workmates.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, sometimes there's become a debate, I've heard this as well, is where we say, I'm not Christian, I don't believe in God, so I don't want to do karakia, or I don't want to participate in karakia. And often, I'd say a lot of Pākehā think that that's what we're doing as well, mehe mea.
Kia ora.
But they don't, kāri te mārama ki te rerekētanga o te karakia Māori tērā i te karakia Kraitiana ahātu.
Kia ora.
And so that's a whole nother wānanga in itself. And
For a kupu.
hey. Oh, look at that. Hoiano, yes. That was a really good pātai, and I'm sure it has made a lot of us think about our own situations. It might not just be a work situation, but we often find ourselves in mahi situations, and kei te tō mai te ao Māori ki roto ki a tātou mahi, and that's beautiful, and we're all trying to be tika and pono, but I think ko te mea i ako ai au i tēnei wānanga is for us to be practical. Kia kawe pōrangi, kia kawe.
Kia ora.
E raru rānei. Yeah.
Ka pai. O, tēnā tātou, kuina ngā pātai, ka nui tērā wānanga, ka huri ki te waiata o te wiki nai ne. Ana, ko te waiata.
Hei, kīnaki i tēnei wānanga, i tēnei Patapatai. Nei tētahi waiata pārekareka, pai ki au te reo waiata o Maisie he anahira ia. Ana, ko tēnei waiata mā hora, ko ia me Bau Monga, taku mahara ko ia te tama Beri Monga.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Whew.
He was cool. He came up the ranks in some New Zealand Idol situation in Aotearoa. Hoi anō, tēnei waiata mā hora.
Mā te atua tātou e arohatia e kaua e mau ki notia e maharahara i whānau mai te ariki hei muru ngā hara e kia mahora harikoa e kia mahora harikoa e mā te atua tātou e arohatia e kaua e mau ki notia e maharahara i whānau mai te ariki hei tohu ora e kia mahora ka maira koro ria ki te atua he hui ngā rangi, he hui ngā iwi tātou tātou e tapu o te ariki te haora e kia mahora hora harikoa e kia mahora harikoa kia mahora harikoa kia mahora harikoa kia mahora harikoa
Fu, kia rōreka mai hoki.
Ai. She's a classic, Macy.
Tino.
Ka nui taku aroha.
And we were in the
i
same
ki
class
aia.
together at te whare wānanga wai katoa have you know.
Pono.
Ana.
Oh.
Yeah. Hey, Mace. We had fun. It was cool.
Was her and boss together
Ana, yep.
back then too?
Yep.
Oh, mai rano ne te rā tokorua.
Ka miti te karakia, ka hara mai tana tāne ki te tiki aia.
Oh,
Yeah.
bless.
Of course she got given a solo. We were in Kingi.
Oh, absolutely.
It was the first time actually. I
Yes.
think Duru teaches the paper now. Te kahauti was
Ai.
ngā mahi a tāne rore. And
Yes,
Kingi
yes,
was
yes,
our
yes,
tutor. Poor Kingi. We always have a laugh
Was he?
because my essay had no references or anything.
Good gad.
I got an A-.
Could have been an A+.
You're right. No good te he.
Ana. Kare kui whai ngā ture.
Tika tau. But oh man, it was... Anyway, koe ngā raumahara engari mihi ana kia kōrua me
kia
tērā
ora.
waiata. Kia pai mahuki.
Ai.
And tēnā rawa atu koutou, te hunga I tuku pātai mai ai kia Taringa. Koira etai pātai, and as you see, guys, we might have to do a quick fire Patapatai again. We did one of those
Yes.
while ago. Engari, a pātai require wānanga. So when we... Sometimes we identify quick fire ones, and then there's ones where we know we've got to do a bit of a wānanga like the pātai that we had. So e mihi ana kia koutou.
Ai, hoi anō. You know, because me ka hake pia tā te hunga whakarongo whakapā mai, and how can they do that? How are we receiving Patapatai?
So you can message us on Facebook or our Insta.
Beautiful.
On the gram.
Mama noiho.
Koe nā hoki. Tukua mai a koutou pātai. I runga I tērā, e mihi ake ana kia koutou katoa, e tautoko tonu mai nei I a Taringa.
Kia ora.
Māringa nui ana mātou te tuku kōrero o tira te wānanga. Hei whakarongo mā koutou, hei tautau hoki I o koutou whakaaro. So yeah, we just want to acknowledge our ngai Taringa and any new listeners and spread the word. You know, I don't expect everybody to know Taringa. I'll tell you a funny story.
Please do.
Kahurangi, e haere ki te tai kaitahi. And there was about 10 people and I had a Taringa t-shirt on and I came into the restaurant and ka me te tahi wahine, oh, Taringa, does that mean that you want people to listen to you or you're going to listen to everybody? And everybody at the table went quiet. Yeah, and I was like, I just sort of chuckled and then I didn't say anything and then someone next to me said, it's a podcast.
It's his podcast.
Yeah.
And he's the host.
No, they didn't say that. They just said, it's a podcast. And she's like, oh, podcast. I love podcasts. So who's on it? And then everybody did the, and then someone like, Paraone. And she's like, oh, and I was like, it's all good. So, horangi atu kōrero.
Ai.
And e mihi ake ana kia koutou, and tēnā tātou katoa. Hei kona mai rā.
Hei kona.
Gather up close, everybody, buddy. Taringa. Yeah, tahuri mai ki yo. Whakarongo ki te tangi a te kori mako. Kōrero flowing out the hookah force. Kaupapa relevant, kaupapa out of bounds. Kaupapa exigent, kaupapa paramount. Nā kona whakapiri mai ki te kaupapa tino whakahira. Whakarongo pi kari mai. Hare mai, o Taringa. Hare mai, we gotta gather up close, everybody. Gather up close, everybody. Kani move that body. Kani move that body.
Taringa, he mea tuku nā te wānanga o Aotearoa, ā, nā te māngai pāho me irirangi te motu I tautoko. To listen to more episodes, search for us on your podcast app and subscribe, or follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Taringa. Whakarongo mai.